In today's video, I'm going to share with you a simple way to make creative offers in your real estate investing business. Coming up. What's up, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a simple formula that you can use in order to be able to create seller finance offers in your real estate investing business. And also on top of that, I'm going to show you how to eliminate the guesswork, because I hear too many real estate investors overcomplicating this situation, especially the brand new ones. Questions like, what's the amortization going to be? Or what's the interest rate going to be? I'm going to eliminate all of the guesswork for you. You're going to use a simple formula in order to be able to help you understand how to make these offers. Now, before I actually jump into the meat and potatoes of this thing, I want you to go ahead and smash that like button below in order to push this video out to more investors so that more people can learn this formula as well. And also, you'll be able to help my channel continue to grow, and I appreciate you for that. Now, listen. This formula is $ plus RC divided by 2 equals CO plus 10%. All right. I know that seems like it's a lot to remember, but it's going to be a lot easier to remember than the amortization and the interest rates and all of that stuff and trying to figure all of that out and confusing the seller and all of that. This is going to be a lot easier for you to understand. When you learn this, you're going to be wondering why you weren't doing this a long time ago, especially if you've been in the business for a while. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. The first thing that I want to talk about is the simple fact that you need to pre-qualify the seller. You need to make sure that they're even interested in doing a creative deal. Then you can use this formula effectively. So how do you pre-qualify the seller? Well, I'm going to provide you with a copy of my property information sheet below. Some of you probably have it already, but if not, there's going to be a link in the description box where you're going to be able to download the property information sheet in order to be able to get those questions that you need in order to pre-qualify the seller. But I'm going to share what those questions are right now. The first question is, will you consider doing a lease purchase on the property? And by asking that question, sometimes the seller may be on the fence with selling the property. Maybe they're not even thinking about selling at the moment, or they may be more interested in doing a lease purchase rather than selling outright. But a lease option can allow you to have control of the property, to be able to do a sandwich lease, to be able to wholesale your lease option and do things like that. It provides you with a level of control to be able to make some money on the property. And it also helps the seller make some money on a monthly basis as well. But that question can also warm the seller up to the next question, which is, would you consider taking your payments in the form of monthly payments over time if I were to offer you full asking price on the property? Now, there's a couple of psychological things that you're doing there. You're telling the seller that they'll make money over time, and you're also telling the seller that they're going to get full asking price by taking this type of offer on a deal. So let me reiterate that question. Would you consider taking your asking price in a form of monthly payments over time if I were to offer you full asking price on this property? And if the seller says yes to any of those questions, then you're right in line to use this formula to be able to create your deal. Now, generally, like I said, this particular formula is going to work well for a seller financed type of deal, a creative offer in that sense. And again, that formula is $ plus RC divided by 2 equals your CO plus 10%. What does all of this mean? How do you take the guesswork out of doing seller finance deals, taking the amortization out, taking the interest rate and all of that stuff out in order to be able to make your seller finance offers? Really simple. The $ stands for the price of the property. Let's go ahead and write that out. So once you have the asking price from the seller, then you can go ahead and negotiate this type of deal. So what does RC stand for? It stands for rental comps. Let's write that out. So what in the world does divided by 2 mean? Anybody with a basic math understanding can figure out that you're going to take the rental comps divided by 2. That's going to equal your creative offer, the CO. And then the 10% is going to match your down payment. So let's write that out as well. Then we'll talk about this in full detail. So how do you come up with all of these numbers? Well, first, the seller is going to provide you with the asking price. You can go to, let's say, Zillow, or you can go to rentometer.com, and I'll link all of that in the description box as well to get basic rental comps. I think that Zillow rental comps are relatively accurate, at least in my market they are. It can be different in your market. I think Rentometer, you want to compare Zillow and Rentometer comps and then kind of make a judgment call from there. And if you know of any rental comp sites that you can provide in the comment section, be sure to leave it in the comment section below as well so that everybody can benefit from it. But in addition to that, you have your rental comps divided by 2 equals your creative offer. And then we'll talk about the 10% in just a moment. So how do you structure all of this? If I were to use a $100,000 property as an example, let's just say a seller contacted me and they said, hey, I am interested in doing seller financing with you. My immediate offer to that seller is going to be whatever their asking price is. I'm not even going to negotiate it because I'm going to get them to accept the long-term game plan that I'm trying to create on the property. So I'm going to provide them with their asking price. But then in addition to that, I'm going to find out what the comps are in the area. And I'm going to generally do that either while I'm on the phone with the seller or before I jump on the phone with the seller. I want to know everything about the property before I actually speak to the seller. So I'm provided with the ammo. So I know exactly what's going on, what my position should be if I needed to make an offer on a property. So I'm going to give them their asking price. I'm going to find out what the rental comps are. And once I find out the rental comps, I'm going to divide that rental comp by 2. So let's just say again, we use a $100,000 property. Seller contacts me and say, hey, houses in this area are going for about $100,000. I want $100,000 for the house. What I'm immediately going to do is offer the seller full asking price with 10% down. And then I'm going to go ahead and find out what the rental comps are in the area, divided by 2, and make that the monthly payment on the property. Let me explain. If it's a $100,000 property and the seller says, look, I want $100,000 for this house, I'm going to go ahead, offer $10,000 down on the property for the seller to become my bank. I don't have to run my credit. I don't have to get pre-qualified, any of that stuff. The seller is basically going to allow me to use the property for funding. Okay? So I'm going to give them their asking price. I'm going to give them a 10% down payment. I'm going to share with you exactly how to get that in just a moment. Keep watching. And then let's say that the rental comps in the area are $1,000 a month. I'm going to offer the seller the full asking price in exchange for the 10% down and $500 a month. So I know for certain that if I needed to rent that property for $1,000, I can rent it and make a clean profit on this property. And that's going to be my creative offer to the seller. So the formula is really simple. Full asking price with 10% down and half of whatever the rental comps are in the area. Now, how do you come up with this 10% down payment? Well, if you're brand new in the business and you don't have a lot of capital, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. If you have decent credit, you can borrow it on a credit card. You can borrow it from someone that you know in exchange for a return on their investment. Let's just say it's $10,000. You can offer somebody a couple of grand, maybe $2,500 to lend you the $10,000 and you pay them back over time. If you have decent credit, maybe you can go to a bank and get the money. I personally would not do any of those. What I would do is I would flip the property as a rent to own to a tenant buyer, or a lease option to a tenant buyer. So I'm buying it on a seller financing, but I'm selling it on a lease option to a tenant buyer who's going to put down 15 or 20%. Now remember, you're offering 10% down to the seller. If you can get 15 to 20% down from your buyer, then you have enough to put the 10% down and also put some money in your pockets as well. In addition to that, you're also going to be able to make a monthly profit on the property, because remember, you're offering half of the rental comp. So if it's $1,000 a month in rental comps and you're only paying the seller $500, after you pay the taxes and insurance and everything like that, you're still going to be $200, maybe $300 in pure profit on this property every month. So not only do you make some money on the front end by putting 5 to 10% in your pocket, you also make money every single month through cash flow, through passive income on the property as well. And not only that, if you decide to sell on a lease purchase, chances are you're going to be able to get more than what the property is worth from your buyer. So if you were to purchase the property, let's just say for $100,000, you can probably add another 10% on top of that, another $10,000, maybe even $15,000 on top of that, and sell a property through a lease purchase to your end buyer. And then the difference when the buyer cashes you out will be 100% yours to pocket. I would do a couple of deals like that. You make some money up front, you make some money every month, you make some money on the back end as well. And I would do a couple of deals like that until you build up enough capital in your real estate investing business to be able to start putting down the 10% with your own capital. And then you can go ahead and start keeping these properties long term. And there's so many other options that we could talk about. We could talk about slow flips. We could talk about just keeping the property for the life of the loan that you have from the seller. We could talk about just building equity that way. There's a world of different things that we could talk about when it comes to owning real estate in that regard. But use this formula. It's the full asking price with 10% down, and then you divide the rental comps by 2 and make that your monthly payment, and you make that offer to the seller. Chances are the seller is going to want to collect a monthly payment, especially in this market that we're in right now. You know, sellers are getting above asking price. But what if they want to make that extra money on the property without having the headaches of actually owning the property? You can provide that solution in addition to your wholesale offers. Maybe you use this as a backup. If the seller is not willing to come off of the price a little bit in order to create that wholesale offer for you, you can use this as a backup to be able to offer the seller what they want, but they play by your terms. I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it useful. This is a strategy that I've been using for quite some time in my real estate business. It works really well, helps us build creative income or passive income through creative investing in my real estate business. And I hope it does the same for you as well. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, and listen. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Do you find this to be an easy formula? Do you have something better? I want to know. I'm a student of the game as well. I continue to learn just like I continue to share. And I hope that you guys are benefiting from me sharing my knowledge on this page as well. But listen, I hope you benefited from this video. I hope to hear of your success stories from the information covered in this video as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.